Hello, my name is Mike Shores and this is my Module 5 presentation. Today I'll be talking about my family's culture and how it affects both my verbal and nonverbal communication and mass communication. I grew up in a white American, middle-class suburban environment. My mom is in the military, so she had to do shore duty a lot, and my dad was not in the picture for a lot of my life. So I was raised by my grandparents from around kindergarten to 5th grade and then like 4 more years after that. And because of that, I was kind of raised by 2 generations of people. As a whole, I would say my family's culture is work hard, play hard. We definitely do value hard work, but we're also not ashamed of taking time to relax and have fun. Growing up, my grandparents always tried to get us out of the house, especially during the summer. My summers were full of camping trips, summer camps, and visits to the museum. My family culture is also a mixture of collectivism and individualism, but leans a little more on individualism. We take time to be together. We like Christmas trips and all that, but we don't always need to be together or always talking to each other. And we definitely value our own personal space. And we love and care about each other, but we just don't always need to be together. I have a very open relationship with my grandparents and my mother, and I really don't like lying or hiding things from them. My family has definitely affected the way I see the world. They taught me that hard work was the best way to succeed in the world. We have always been snarky and blunt, and that is definitely how I am. I can be nice and polite when I need to be, but I don't lie about things that matter or try to pull any punches. We make fun of each other a lot and never try to shy away from the truth. A lot of my family has ADHD, including myself, and we have all that. We jump topics around and get very excited and talk very loudly. So if you ever come to my family get together, be prepared to talk loud and fast, or you're gonna be talked over and get interrupted. That's just how it is. When it comes to nonverbal communication, we are very expressive and use our hands a lot. Sometimes instead of verbally telling each other how we feel, we just make faces at each other or make hand gestures to convey what we want. I like to believe that I show my thoughts openly, which includes my facial expressions and body movements, which are shared with my family. I get a lot of that from my family. We're also, again, pretty honest, but also very mischievous. Especially me and my grandfather. So me and my grandfather do this thing where we make silly lies up or like silly stories to joke around with people, which can confuse people a lot, especially my grandfather, because he has a very neutral face when he's telling jokes. So some people actually think he's serious, which can be very confusing. I do that too, but I also use a lot of facial expressions to kind of convey it, what I'm joking about. Like if I'm making jokes, I'll just start laughing. Despite that, I still say I'm a terrible liar because I only lie for jokes. I can't lie seriously. You can always tell, especially like my family, they can always tell when I'm lying. Unfortunately, I have learned that I can be easily misinterpreted for my jokes, and I have gotten in trouble for that, which is not fun. I say we're kind of a balance from very blunt and truthful, but also sly, sarcastic, and facetious. I know that when I'm talking to new people, I need to dial it back because I can be very overwhelming and rude and kind of abrasive to begin if I just let everything out. So I know how to be especially nice to new people to kind of like, you know, show that I'm not actually a mean person. My family culture affects the way I talk in both casual conversation and also formal mass communication. The way I do speeches is actually, or mass communication is actually very similar to the way I talk to people normally. I don't really change a lot because I just kind of pretend that I'm talking to one of my friends, and that's how usually I do my speeches. My culture has always valued loud and dramatic talking. I always talk with enthusiasm and energy. The advantage of that is I never have a trouble of keeping my audience engaged. Usually I can pretty easily keep them entertained and high energy. But the downside of that is I can come off too strong or become very distracting. I have to consciously remind myself to like calm down, rein it in, and not be too extra, or else I'll just might weird people out. Another thing I struggle with is rambling, especially when I get nervous and getting distracted and going off topic. The way I've learned to stop that is by making out a clear speech and then practicing it so I know exactly what I want to say, when I want to say it, and that I don't get sidetracked. Family affects you in many different ways, and we have seen it in the speech, I hope, and that includes the way we communicate. The way we express ourselves and your hand movements are all reflections of your family's culture. This makes sense because as children, the way we learn to speak is by mimicking the people around us. I guess you could say that we're all products of our surroundings. Thank you for listening to my presentation.